right, there we go. All right, hello everyone. Let me turn down my microphone to a normal level. Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm actually really happy to be here because, well, I haven't played this game in a little while, and I kind of really wanted to do it. Let me say hello to some people real quick. Let's see here. We got Jimmy. Hello, Jimmy. Um, Goofy Rules, Kevin, Oliver. Hello, everybody. Hello, Snowing Aviation. Thank you so much, Nick. Nick says, "Hey, Alex, excited for another great stream." Me too. Thank you so much for the donation. Um, Oliver says, "There we are." Oh, because I'm here. Hello, Thomas. Hello, A Fox. Hello, Daniel. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the live stream up on my phone so I can keep up with it while we do this. So, let's see. My channel. There we go. All right. So, I have the live chat up here for me to follow. Sorry, I was a bit late to the stream because I have all these. Sorry, let me just. I have all these lights set up everywhere, and so just lower that now. And the lights just weren't working. I figured out it was because the USB port they were plugged into just wasn't powerful enough. So, but yeah, I got that fixed, as you can see. So here we are. Let's explore some Titanic at night. We don't do enough nighttime. We always do daytime because everybody asks for daytime, which is weird. Like, I think nighttime is so much cooler. You don't get to see it at nighttime that often. Hello, Conrad. Oh, right. I gotta click begin. That'll bring us right into it. Let's see here. All right, and we have loaded in. All right, so hopefully all my settings are still the same. Because I like to... Yeah, okay, good. Everything is still the same. Because when I move around, if the mouse settings have to be put really sluggish for the game, because when I move around, you don't want it to be like all jerky and stuff and making you sick. So I try to make it as smooth as possible. So this is first class that we enter in. Of course, this is what the main area looks like with the elevators and stuff. Pokey Smoochie says, "Can you visit the mail room?" Sure. All right, let's go to the mail room. Thank you so much, Nick. Nick says, "I have too many plans for next year. February 9th night cruise, a June rock and ring. Evanescence will be there, and then September 1st. I'm having trouble keeping up with that. 4 nights of Queen Mary 2. Okay. Nice. So now, I see I wasn't even looking at the screen to know where I'm going. I kind of just already know how to get here. This is the first part of the mail room areas. So you can see all the sacks of mail. And what they would have done was mail would have come aboard these RMS ships. Let's say starting off in England, so you're departing Southampton. There would have been mail from England bound to New York and to Canada and other places on the American continent. And so the mail would have passed that way, and they would have needed to sort it on the ship. In fact, they had a few days of sailing, so that provided them plenty of time to efficiently sort the mail while they were on the voyage rather than doing it on the mainland somewhere where it could have just taken up precious time. So it was kind of a, yeah, it was kind of a win-win for them in that sense. To my knowledge, not all steamships transported mail. There were just certain steamships that were designated for it. And when it came to Great Britain, the British ships that transported the Royal Mail were given the honorary title of Royal Mail Ship or Royal Mail Steamer, depending on what year you're considering the name from. Because there is a ship today that is considered RMS, but it is not a steamship, so it wouldn't be a steamer. Let's see. A Fox and Irish Lad says they're the same person. All right, let's see here. Anguirus, I don't consider this gaming. This is really just a simulator. There's no game aspect to this. Like, there's nothing you have to do. There's no storyline to follow. You're just kind of exploring the ship, and that's what I like about simulators, is that it's not always a goal-oriented kind of thing. Let's see here. Okay, Nick says 20 days of Evanescence for the first time, and I'm so excited. Wow, that's a lot of Evanescence. Oh, where was that? Here we go. I was going to get into this side. Pookie says, I played this game with my best friend, and it took us an hour to find the mailroom. Really? There was a time where people asked me to find them the mailroom, and it did take me a while. Hello, Teresa. Teresa says, go to the second class dining room. Or go to the third class dining room. Okay, we'll do that. I just wanted to show people the bottom level of the mail rooms. So they could have transported sacks of mail up this little elevator shaft from the bottom level. The bottom level of the mail room holds all of the sacks of mail. And to my knowledge, there would have been sorted and unsorted. I'm guessing the ones piled up under the stairs are yet to be unsorted, and the ones that are stacked up on these pillars are already sorted. So I'm guessing that's how it works. Oh, I forgot. You can hear the boilers. Because I was like, what is that sound? It sounds like something's burning. It's the boilers. Anguirus says, can you go to the bow? No, unfortunately there's nothing in this version of the game, or the demo I should call it, because this isn't a game, it's a demo. There's nothing in this version of the demo that allows you to go to the bow. All right, so that was the mail holds, and somebody, Teresa, asked if I could go to the second class dining room. So we'll do that now. Jimmy says, hey, Alex, I know you might have visited 1,000 times, but if you want to, can you visit the Strauss suite? Sorry. Yeah. Strauss suite. Sure. First, we're going to go to second class, though, because that's the order of events in which, well, I suppose we can stop at the Strauss suite because it's right here. And we can just continue on afterwards. So this is the Strauss suite, part of which was featured in the movie Titanic as part of Rose's, various suites that they rented. But in actuality, Isidore and Ida Strauss stayed in this suite, and it's considered among the most beautiful suites on Titanic, and I would have to say so. My favorite thing is the kind of cherry red color of the wood paneling. I love that. There's something about this specific shade of stain on the wood paneling. I remember this is a suite, so it is extremely well decorated. But a first class stateroom didn't necessarily look this fancy. Let's see. This is the sleeping area. Hey, Drew. Yeah, I know about the Western River Expedition. Pretty cool. A whole book about it. Wow. Teresa Roybal says, when's the next update? For the game, I have no idea. Granny Gaming says, is this a new update? Not from the last few times I've been playing this, no. Pikachu says, I think eventually people left because they were looking to see the bow. Yeah. Sorry. They don't have that on this version. I can't walk out there. I can walk up to the bridge and we can look down at the bow, but I can't literally walk onto the bow. All right, now to the second class. Was it the dining room that Teresa wanted? Yeah. Second class dining room. We'll kind of sprint through here, just to make things go faster. This is the aft grand staircase. Now we enter through the second class areas. There's the second class library. And we'll go down. Oh, here's the lift. Since we're on this level, we can kind of see the second class lift. Very nice. You can even see the markings on the on the wood there. Some of them just plain look like scratches, to be honest. All right. So we have to go down either 1 or 2 levels. I forget. Oh, it's just 1 level. All right. This, folks, is the second class dining room on D deck. Pikachu, they are holding off on a lot of stuff till the game is released, but the next update, so this current version that I'm kind of running around through is 30% of Titanic. So we get to see 30% of it. But the new update to this demo that they're planning to release is going to be 50% of Titanic. That's right. More than half of everything on Titanic will be accessible with the next update to the demo. So, but when that update is, I couldn't tell you. Nobody knows yet. But yeah, it'll be a lot. Like a demo of Titanic with 50% of it accessible is huge. Um, Thomas says, remember when you were taken by surprise when you found out that the demo had real-time clock animations? Yeah, that's one of those things I still I still find pretty cool. I know it's simple, but it's a little detail like that that kind of makes it all the more realistic. All right. Now, somebody asked for something else. Hmm. Irish Lad says, can you go to boiler rooms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? I think I can go to boiler room 1. I don't remember how to get there. Do I have to go down a level? I think I have to go down a level. Yeah, there we go. Normally this door would be closed to separate second class from third class, but for the game it's left open so we can kind of roam through it. Now we're on Scotland Road, which is the main walking path, kind of acting like a service corridor throughout the ship. A lot of very large superliner steamships like this had had long corridors like this. This is the part of Scotland Road that everybody recognizes. Granny Gaming says, what is this game even supposed to be? It is simply a simulator. It just allows you to roam through Titanic and see it for yourself. Eventually, the final game, because this is just the demo to the game. The final game will also allow you to, well, basically roam 100% of Titanic at your leisure. You can also have the choice to pick up objects and learn about who they belong to, or enter a room and learn who that room was occupied by, and stuff like that. So you have the option in the final game when it is completed to learn or just explore if that's really what it's all about for you. I do not remember what boiler room this is. It's not labeled, but it's near the bow, so I'm gonna say it's like boiler room 1. Because I don't believe there's any other boiler rooms beyond this going forward. This is part of the funnel uptakes. Pretty cool. The next updates will also allow for more exploration of the boiler room area. as well as inside the, what do you call them? The coal bunkers. This is one of the access points to the coal bunker. And when the next version is completed, you should be able to actually go inside the coal bunker and roam around in there and kind of see what's in there. The coal bunkers, I would have thought, would have really smooth walls and it would just be like a big box essentially, but it's not that simple. From what it looked like, the coal bunker is a series of compartments with lots of nooks and crannies and then walkways inside, which coal just gets stuck everywhere and someone would have to go in there and shovel the areas clear as the coal is being used up, which seems kind of like a lot of work. You know, you'd think it would just be a giant empty like square tank so it, with just smooth walls and stuff. So, but it's not. It's not. And of course, I might as well show you guys this area. This area is incomplete, but this is the access alley that when the crew would come from the bow area and begin work in the boiler rooms, they came down through this tunnel. And at the end would have been 2 spiral staircases leading up to the various crew decks. Of course, in this version, that has not been added, but that's what it would have been in the past. 2 spiral staircases leading up to other decks and things. Beluga Brody. Someone asked me that question yesterday, and my answer was basically I have no idea what that is. We can kind of go around here a little bit. You can see what it looks like on top of the boilers. There's a little catwalk down there that I cannot access. Or can I? I would have to go... No, well, no, I can, I think. I've never been over there before. Let me see. Oh, I don't think... Oh... No, because that ends right there, so I actually can't go that way. Yeah, there's... How does one get there? Okay, there's a catwalk leading that way. And then I can't see. It's so dark. And there's one leading... Okay, so there's a little catwalk that branches out over each boiler. But I don't see any catwalks that lead up to that one. So I wouldn't know how to get there. And I can't go any further from here. Kind of blocked off. So yeah, you are seeing how the gases are funneled up into the stacks on top of the ship, which is why they call them funnels. Okay, let's see. Teresa says, does Titanic have shear? The real one did, but this is the only area, this hallway is the only area in this entire demo that they actually included shear. It's really hard to tell, but this is the only area on the ship of this demo that has shear, because it is a really difficult thing to incorporate, and to ensure that the full game, when it is complete, has shear. They've actually been working on building the Titanic literally from the keel up, and which is something that not a lot of game creating organizations would do. Normally, they would just build boxes of every section of the ship and then later assemble those boxes. But ocean liners were really complicated things back then to construct, and pretty much the only way you can accurately replicate it in digital form is to digitally construct it the same way it would have been constructed in real life. So they're actually going and starting from the keel plates and building all the frames and installing all the plates along the hull and everything in order to ensure that everything fits correctly, because they did try a lot of rooms and stuff were not fitting together when they tried it the traditional game building way. So it's actually kind of interesting that they're having to do something realistic to create something realistic. Um, Teresa says, I like the first class smoking room. Oh, yeah, that's a nice one. Granny Gaming says, will you play the final game? Yeah, but it's probably a couple years from being done. So, I don't know if, you know, who knows what'll happen by then. But yeah, my intention is to do that. This is the first class dining room. It's not as grand as other ships of the time. Other ships had dual levels to create huge, what's the word? Kind of like an atrium, you know? But, you know, this is still very nice. Teresa wants me to go to the Parisian Cafe. Okay. Pikachu says, can I ask one question? Because they did a video on the crew spaces in the bow. It seems those spaces were separated by rank from officers at the top, 2 firemen at the bottom. What do you think? Oh, I don't know how they separated it on Titanic. I can tell you about Queen Mary, but yeah, I'm by no means knowledgeable about Titanic. I mean, I think I saw the same video you saw, but I don't remember. Alright, so Cafe Parisian. I have to go up to B deck, I believe. That's the first class purser's office. Okay, so it must be aft. Chris answered my question about the coal as to why it wasn't just kept in a big smooth box for ease of coal consumption. And he says the reason why it was a very complex shaped box was to keep the coal from moving around during bad weather conditions with rough oceans. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I didn't even consider that. So this is the bottom, or not the bottom, but almost the bottom of the aft grand staircase. This is Cafe Parisienne. Let's see. Teresa says, thanks for amazing content. You're welcome. Gabe says, evening, Alex. I got a question. How long did it take to build her? I believe Titanic was built in under 3 years. I want to say 1.5 years for the construction of the hull, and then another 1.5 for fitting the ship out. So yeah, I want to say 3 years. Well, let's see. Uh, uh, huh. Yeah, I don't know. Jose says, Alex, which are the first class cabins or suites would you like to be in the utopian case that you traveled on the Titanic? The Strauss suite, to be honest. Now we're going into one of my favorite restaurants on the ship. This is the a la carte restaurant. And one of the things I like about it is all of the marquetry panels. These are marquetry panels. It's where they take different kinds of wood or even just different stains of wood and they combine them into beautiful patterns and things. It was most certainly used, especially in the Art Deco era with British Art Deco styles, but it was obviously used even back in the Victorian era and before that. Marquetry panels are just, you know, just a beautiful thing. You don't really see that too much because in this day and age, people don't really appreciate wood. Like most people don't know the fundamental differences between different wood grains and why it's beautiful. So, but yeah, I do. For those of you wondering what my favorite wood would be, it would be Makassar ebony, which was used a lot on the RMS Queen Mary, but also just, in everyday life. I have a letter opener made of Makassar ebony with some ivory inserted pieces. I don't know what to call them. They cut out like holes in the ebony, and then that's where they inserted little dowels of ivory for decoration. So it's really beautiful. It's an antique, of course. I didn't hire anybody to kill an elephant and put ivory in there. I wouldn't do that. It was an antique. So yeah, a la carte restaurant. And it's exactly as it sounds. Instead of doing multiple course meals, you could just order like specific meals a la carte. A lot of restaurants do that nowadays, which is why almost no restaurants go by the name a la carte, because that's just, it's what you do. You're like, oh, I just want steak with a side of mashed potatoes. That's considered an a la carte meal. But in a full course meal at other restaurants like they used to have on Titanic and stuff, that was just considered a normal restaurant. Now, I may not be an ocean liner expert, but I do have an education in culinary arts. I used to be a chef. What I can tell you that's kind of really cool about eating multiple courses, because I know there's a lot of people who've probably never been to a restaurant that serves multiple courses as part of their dining plan. And the idea is not to stuff you with food. It's actually just the opposite. It's designed to take several hours to eat, so that way you can enjoy the food without feeling full and stuffed. And so a lot of times you will see that the portions are very small. But the idea is that you're just slowly eating your way through art. That's the idea. It's not about filling your stomach. It's about really appreciating how the food was made and what the quality of the food is. That was Father Brown's stateroom, and then on the other side is what's his name? Thomas Andrews' cabin. Thomas Andrews was the basically the designer of the Titanic or the Olympic class. So you can see they have blueprints kind of just laying on the beds and tables and stuff. This is where he would have washed up, cleaned his face, gotten dressed. All right. Let's get to a spot here that looks kind of nice, and then we'll see what everybody wants to. There. All right. Pablo says, where are the kitchens in the Titanic? They're usually near the food areas, like where they serve food. There's usually a kitchen nearby. Um, Unfortunately, they don't have access to the kitchen areas in this version of the demo, so I can't literally show you what the kitchens look like, but I can tell you that they're right next to basically wherever they serve food, there's a kitchen nearby. Silicon says, could you play the THG syncing demo sometime? No, I think that would violate my own personal ethics. I personally do not like the idea of playing a game where the ship is sinking. I think that kind of is just insensitive towards a disaster. It's the same reason why I would never play a game where, like, you know, I'm in the World Trade Center as it's collapsing. Like, that just doesn't seem right to me. So no, I wouldn't be playing that. Chris says about 3.5 years to build the ship. Oh, interesting. They must have started in 1909 then. Chris says, I would love to live on board my modern day clone copy of the RMS Britannic 2. It would be as grand as RMS Titanic. Arus says inlay. Yeah, marquetry panels considered inlay as well. Unless you're talking about the oh, you're talking about the letter opener I have with the ivory inlay. Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking to say. There's ivory in the Makassar ebony of my letter opener. Let's see. Oceanliner Build says, isn't this the time the Titanic hit the iceberg? It's 11:40 p.m. in the UK. Oh, I didn't even consider that. I mean, I'm in the US, so to me it's 4:42 p.m. But yeah, I guess that would be the time that it happened. Now, from what I understand, this was the only real fireplace on Titanic, and it was a coal fireplace, and so not only did it provide warmth and a realistic, comforting atmosphere, but also it created a draft which helped to pull the smoke from the smoking room out up through the funnel. The aft funnel, the fourth one that everybody calls a dummy funnel, which isn't accurate. It's not a dummy. It really does funnel smoke, just not from the boiler rooms. What is with people today? It is storming outside, so that's probably why you might hear like a dull hiss along with my audio. So there's a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and a lot of sirens. People apparently cannot drive in the rain. Of course, that's not something I'm barely discovering. Obviously, anybody knows that whenever there's rain, people go crazy. Can't drive. You know, I am a really good driver. I'm a very careful, cautious driver, but I'm a good driver. Problem is, I hate driving because everybody else on the road doesn't know how to drive, so therefore I don't drive. It gives me such anxiety Because it's like, I know the laws of driving, but other people don't, and they think that they do. It's just like, they do all kinds of illegal stuff on the road, and I'm like, you can't do that. It's just, ugh. Can you imagine? Chris says, my cabin area would have been the private promenade on the starboard side of the ship. So the cabin that's connected to the private promenade, you mean? Let's see here. Steven asks if I can pause once in a while and show some signage. Sure, I don't see much signage around here. Whenever I do, I will. Teresa says, what car do you drive? I don't drive. Like I said, I don't drive. Because I get such anxiety on the road because people are such crazy drivers. They can't follow the laws of the road, and then they don't realize that they don't know how to drive. I think the only way you can be a good driver on the road is to be as bad as everyone else, to be totally honest. Because if you try to follow the laws, like, you will never be able to successfully drive. There's a signage. Smoking room. Okay. Let's go find another area. I'm sure some people probably want to see more second class. Nobody's requesting areas. I thought you guys would be like, show me this, show me that. But it's been quite silent. Hey, Russell says, dude, you need to get out of Cali. I don't live in California. I live in Oregon. What was I doing again? I feel like I came down the stairs for a reason. Oh, second class. That's right. James Guy says engine room. Unfortunately, in this version of the demo, engine room is not available. They haven't released the new version of the demo yet. The new version has the engine room in it. Oceanliner Build says, what's your opinion on the Titanic switch theory? It's bogus. I don't believe in the Titanic switch theory. I don't like conspiracy theories at all. They're often overly complex theories to explain away something that's very simple. Yeah, I don't like conspiracy theories. This is the second class library, but they used it a lot as a kind of a main lounge. And like I always say whenever I come into this room, that is literally the only bookcase with books on it. What were some people pulling? What were they reading? No titles, no blurry words, can't read anything. Alright, let's go over this way. I think if I went down a level here, this leads to the dining room. But we were just in the dining room. So I want to... Oh, whoops, a bit of a glitch there. The room didn't load in. There we go. Alright. We'll go up a level. Because over here... I forget, sometimes these passages are a bit wonky. See? This is the second class smoking room. Now, of all the second class spaces, this is my favorite. Just because it's just very nice looking. Um, Teresa says, go to the third class lounge on the poop deck. Okay. Jimmy says, can we see the Turkish baths? Okay, someone else's Turkish baths as well. Chris says, I had a weird dream that I had a few weeks ago. I was living on board my ship and we were going through a Category 3 hurricane, and my son hit his eye area on the doorknob. Oh, geez. All right, we will go to third class lounge. So now we're underneath the poop deck at the stern of the ship, and this is the third class lounge. You can imagine people just relaxing in here. Third class on Titanic was really not bad. I think, though, that there is a misconception, I think, which probably stems from words coming from the James Cameron movie, that Titanic had like the best third class accommodations of any ship. You know, from the research I've done so far, I don't think it was exemplary. You know, like, I don't think it was the best. It's very good for sure for its time, but there were other ships that had just as good third class accommodation, Mauritania being one of them. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Titanic had the best. It was very, very good, though. But of course, the movie says a lot of things like, oh, you know, it paints the ship in this light of magnificence. But in reality, the ship was really not all that notable. There wasn't. Olympic kind of stole all the thunder. Olympic was, you know, a groundbreaking ship of its own, you know, in its own right. And Titanic was a copy of Olympic, essentially. Okay, so we did the lounge. People want to see the Turkish baths next. Okay. Steven says, let's head to a head. There's only one accessible bathroom that I know of, but every time I try to find it, I always lose my way. Where are we going again? Oh yeah, Turkish baths. Okay. Well, I think I can continue on this way. Pikachu says, it's one thing driving in New Orleans, but driving in Los Angeles, I hear that's a whole nother beast. But I would prefer the state of California over the Republican state any day for any reasons. Let's not turn this political, you guys. Let's just talk about Titanic. But I will say that I think the craziest place I've ever had to drive was not Los Angeles. It was San Francisco. San Francisco had you had to be a skilled driver to drive through San Francisco. Really skilled. Turkish baths. I have to keep remembering that we're going to see the Turkish baths. All right, E deck. We go down a level. All right, here's some signage. There we go. Zachary says, I wonder if the full game is ever going to come out. You know, honestly, I know people's frustration. They've really wanted this game to be completed, and the team has run into so many snags over the years. I do think, though, that this is the final stretch. I think it is finally on its way to being completed, because they're closer than ever to completion. So, yeah, I think it's going to be done this time. It may take another 3 years, possibly, but I think this time it'll be done. All right, Turkish baths. Now this is a really cool room because they put a lot of detail in it, both in real life and in the game. So, yeah, everything from those beautiful red ceilings with the decorative concealed beams. Or I should say concealed frames, because those are beams, but the frames underneath them are concealed. Here's some of the tile work. Brian, I'm doing great. Oliver says, "Did you see the cable cars there?" Oh yeah, I've rode the cable cars many times in my childhood. San Francisco is it's like a second home to me. You know, my dad and I used to go there all the time, just to, you know, roam around and have fun and stuff. And then even as I grew into an adult, I would go to San Francisco with my friends. So it really feels like a second home to me. And yeah, I've pretty much been everywhere, done every major thing in San Francisco. I would like to go on the cable cars again. It's been a very long time. It's probably been close to 15 or more years since I've no, yeah, it's been closer to 20 years since I've been on a cable car. Every time I show this, I feel like I have to explain it to people because some people might think this is a morgue. Um, this machine that Bob Iger is laying in is this is what's called an electric bath. And so, to my knowledge, what it was it's a lot like a tanning bed in the sense that there's a lot of electric light bulbs inside. But the difference is this wasn't to give you a tan. Back then, electric light was still somewhat of a miracle technology. So people thought there might have been therapeutic properties to laying under electric light. So the idea is you would have just kind of sat in this thing and all the lights would have turned on. It would have been very warm for sure. But they would have thought that the electric light was good for you for, you know, therapeutic reasons. It turns out it really doesn't affect you either way. And then these are the hydrotherapy. I'm not exactly sure how the hydrotherapy worked. It's not the same as what we would consider today. It's basically just spraying you with water, essentially. So there were 2 hydrotherapy rooms. The signage on the top is not completed. And then over here is what someone described to me as a drying room. So it's essentially a low humidity, slightly warm room that you would come to relax and dry off in. And as far as I know, there was a hot room here. So it's kind of like a sauna. I do not see the tools necessary to make it a sauna, so I do not believe it was humidified, but I do believe it was extra warm. So at least you'd sit in here in the warmth and you'd probably sweat off a few things. And there's another private drying room here, maybe for a person paying extra. Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing on that one. And then the other part of the Turkish baths was also accessible separately, and that is the pool. So if we go through here, we have to pass through a watertight bulkhead. And then open that, and we are in the first class swimming pool room. I say first class, but it's the only pool on Titanic. So I think I say that a lot because, you know, I'm a Queen Mary fan, and there were 2 pools on Queen Mary, one for first class, one for second class, and third class on Queen Mary shared the first class pool. Let's see. Chris asks would I like to drive on the German Autobahn. No. Chris says go to Titanic's gym. I can do that. I always get stuck behind this door. Sometimes it doesn't want to open. All right, the gym. Jim. Your name is Jim. I'm trying to remember if it's forward or aft. I'm pretty sure it's forward. It's one of those moments where I wish we could take the lift. A deck. And then it's one more, I think. Because I think it's on the boat deck. It's the namesake of this game, Crowning Glory, which inspired the name Titanic, Honor and Glory. I think that's it over there. Here we go. Here's the sign for those of you that like to read the signs. Jimmy says, can we go into a random first class bedroom? Sure. Chris says, are you a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation? Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan, but I enjoy watching it when I do watch it. Something Kruger says, did they update it at all? No, this hasn't been updated since a few times ago when I've been playing this. Oceanliner builds it's now midnight in the UK. Teresa says, go to the Veranda restaurant. Okay, we'll do that in a little bit. Because we were just over there, and then I don't want to have to go all the way back again. All right, so someone said a random first class bedroom. To go down A deck. Well, you know, we're here, and I don't want to miss this because I know we're coming closer to the end of the live stream. So we'll go over here first. Because nobody's asked to see the main lounge so far today. That kind of surprises me. This is the sign for the reading and writing room, which is on the right here. This is the first class main lounge. It takes a while for it to kind of load in, so I always have to let it be kind of glitchy. So yeah. This is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful rooms on the ship. In fact, most ocean liners, the main lounge is usually the most beautiful room. Because, well, I mean, that's where, you know, it's where the first class passengers hang out. What I like about this chandelier is during the daytime, you can see through all that crystal and you can actually see the light bulbs behind it. During the daytime, that is. At night, it's kind of hard to see the light bulbs because the light bulbs are lit so brightly. And it's all glittering and glistening. You know what's weird? I feel like there was a piano in this room, and now I don't see the piano. Maybe I'm going crazy. We saw the first class smoking room, so at least we got to see that. But I could have sworn there was like a piano in the corner of this room somewhere. But yeah, I must be mistaken. Okay, so. Oh, now somebody asked to go to the bridge. Okay. We might as well do that now instead of later because we're close to the bridge area. Or the way to get to the bridge, I should say. It's what the dome looks like at night without the daylight to shine through the glass. This way leads to the bridge. Go through the door, we make a left. Past the expansion joint and go forward. Chris says the Enterprise's warp, I can't pronounce that, are about the same size as RMS Titanic. Okay. Teresa says, Alex, have you fell through the ship before? Like fell from boat deck to E deck? No, I've never fallen through the ship like that. But in one of the previous versions of this game, this is the Wheelhouse, by the way. In one of the previous versions of the game, you could go into like one of the first class cabins, the staterooms, and all of a sudden you could fall through the stateroom into the first class dining room on the deck below, and that was pretty scary, but they have since fixed that. So, and that was the cabin I was about to take you guys to right now. So that's the bow of the ship. That's as close as we can get to the bow, because they don't have that open for us in this demo. And then behind us, we have the rest of the boat deck of Titanic. You'll notice that there are no lights shining up at the funnels, and you probably would have seen that in the James Cameron movie. But also, it probably would surprise you because if you see a cruise ship today, the funnel is almost always lit up by lights. They wouldn't have done that for ocean liners because, first of all, it wasn't necessary. But, you know, second of all, it would have just been, you know, consuming a lot of electricity, and electricity was a precious thing to produce on an ocean liner, at least in the early days. So, but yeah, there was literally no reason to light the funnels at night, so I don't believe that they were lit at all. This is the communication devices. They're like telephones. I don't want to say loudophones. I believe Queen Mary had loudophones, but not Titanic. Titanic did not have loudophones. All right. Okay. So I was gonna show you folks the one of the first class staterooms, a typical stateroom, because I already showed you a suite. And suites look like palaces, basically. It's the motor room for the lifts. Okay, we have to go down to C deck. B deck. Well, you know what? We're here. Let's just really quickly, I'll show you one of the private promenades. Come on. This is a private promenade. This one, I think, was also used in the James Cameron movie Titanic. Like I said, Rose's cabins, you know, depending on what cabin they're showing, it could be on C deck or B deck. So, and then this is the cabin associated with this particular private promenade. You can't really explore the cabin too much. This is just the sitting room of the cabin with an electric fireplace. There's no other doors to go into the cabin, so I mean like further into the cabin. But back to the staircase, we got to go to C deck. If I'm going to show you guys a typical first class cabin. All right, C deck, and I believe we were on, yeah, we were on the forward staircase, so we got to go aft. And when you go aft, now there are certain cabins like this that are you know, you can't go inside, but you can kind of peek in. But you'll see better when we go to the actual cabin that's open. So you can kind of peek into this one. Peek into that one. But we can't go in. And I think the ones that we can enter... no, not down here. Yep, there we go. So this is a first class stateroom cabin that we can enter. This is like a typical first class cabin. It's not a big palace of a room like we saw with the Strauss suite or with the other suite. So a lot of people who are new to Titanic are kind of surprised when they see this and they go, oh, that's a first class cabin? And it's like, yeah. They get even more modest than this. There's a cabin that's much smaller than this that is available on the ship somewhere. I believe it's on D deck. So I don't know. Those are those call buttons? I don't think they're the... Well, one of them might be for the... No, these are for the lamps. The lamps have their own... Oh, but then again, the beds might have their own call button. Well, anyway, there would have been like a call button thing, like a switch somewhere to call a steward. And then somewhere, I don't know if they... Oh, this is C120, by the way, in case you're wondering. C120. You can't enter that one. But then there would have been like... well, anyway, in there would have been like rooms that were specifically for the cabin stewards. In those rooms, sorry, I know I yawned, but in those rooms would have been like a board with all the local cabins of the area, and a little light would have appeared next to the number on the board. So you knew that if someone in C120 had flipped the switch to call a steward, then you knew it was C120 and you could go to C120. Okay. Yeah, Teresa, like I said, that was in a previous version of this game. So this is a updated version. So bleh. So that can't happen anymore. That room that we were just in, C120, was the one where in the previous version, if you played it and you walked in that room, you would have fallen through to the dining room. But you can't do that anymore because they updated it. So now this is a smaller stateroom cabin. This is the one I was talking about where you know, it's even smaller and more modest. Sink, wardrobe, in-cabin heater, bed. Yep. Typical first-class cabin. Now, let's go see a third-class cabin, shall we? Oh, by the way, this is the barber shop. I believe men and women could have had their hair done here. Now, Queen Mary's first class had a separate salon for the ladies and a salon for, not a salon, a barber shop for the men. But in third class, they had only one barber shop, and one chair was used for ladies and the other chair was used for men, and they separated them with a curtain. That's how it was on Queen Mary. Now, we're going to go see a third class cabin. Or try to. Here's a lavatory for the stewards. Can't go in. We are running down Scotland Road. I believe. Well, you know, I don't know if this is a third class cabin. It's probably more of a crew quarter, to be honest. Yeah, it's probably crew quarters, but still. It looks just like a third class cabin anyway. Bunks. Yeah, because if this was a third class cabin, there would have been like a little station for... Well, that kind of is it. Well, anyway, there would have been a station with like a little bowl and a pitcher of water so you could wash up. When I say wash up, that means your hands. And then this scary door, I believe, is the door for the Master at Arms, which is basically the officer in charge of security on the ship. All right, let's see. Chris, no, I didn't know that people fell on Lusitania's elevator. Roger says, when I first saw the depiction of the first class corridors, I was shocked and devastated, but now I love it more in the Cameron film. Oh, yeah. Personal depiction of the first class quarters. I was shocked. Why were you shocked that you saw the first class corridors? Like, was it a good shock or a bad shock? Like, were you like, oh, that's horrible? Or were you like, oh, wow, that's amazing? I'm curious. Maverick, how's it going? No? Russell says, why is every other light in the hallway off? I don't see any lights turned off. They're all on. Yeah, they're all on. Oh, the third class dining room is over here. Might as well go see that. Did I just pass it? I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Mike says, is the engine room in this one? I'm downloading this tomorrow. No, the engine room is not in this version. They still haven't completed the next version. Roger says, I thought they were ugly because I thought James Cameron's was so elegant. Really? I feel like they look the same in James Cameron's, and I thought they looked the same to me. Jimmy says, hey Alex, what's your favorite room / place on the ship? It was the first class main lounge, which we visited earlier. Someone wanted me to show them the menu. I'll do my best. So it says third class, breakfast, oatmeal, porridge and milk, smoked herring, jacket potatoes, ham and eggs, fresh bread and butter, marmalade, Swedish bread, tea, coffee. Dinner says rice soup, fresh bread, cabin biscuits, roast beef with brown gravy, sweet corn, boiled potatoes, plum pudding, sweet sauce, and fruit. Or plum pudding with sweet sauce and fruit. And then under tea, it says tea is a meal, by the way. So it says cold meat, cheese, pickles, fresh bread and butter, stewed figs and rice, and tea. And then under supper, it says gruel, cabin biscuits, and cheese. I forgot what gruel is, but it was a very common dish to serve on an ocean liner, and it was, people, I guess, liked it because they kept continuing to serve it on every ocean liner. But yeah, I forgot what gruel is, but gruel was a common dish on an ocean liner. At the very bottom, it says, any complaint respecting the food supplied, want of attention, or incivility should be at once reported to the purser or chief steward. For purposes of identification, each steward wears a numbered badge on the arm. Huh. So yeah, you would alert the steward if you had a complaint about the food, or if you want attention for something, or if someone is being incivil, which this is third class, so there were some people here who may not be behaving properly. Makes sense. You can see on the table, everybody's given a dinner roll, which I'm guessing the butter would have come out soon after. And then you see, those look like tomatoes, but I'm pretty sure they're apples. They'd have to be apples, wouldn't they? And then there's glasses of water served. Now, some people are wondering, where's the kitchen? The kitchen would have been back here for third class, but no access. So, yeah. On a ship, usually a kitchen is very close by to wherever food is being served. Now, this dining room was separated in half by a watertight bulkhead. So you did have to step up and over if you wanted to get to the other side. Not that it was necessary to get to the other side, because there was a staircase on the other side. So I'll show you. This takes you back to what do you call it? The Scotland Road. So there's the staircase we just came up, and this is the staircase that goes down to the other one. So really, if you knew which side of the dining room you were dining in, you would just go to your respective side of the staircase. Watertight door deck plate. What? That's what that says. WT for watertight door deck plate. Huh. Interesting. All right. Maverick says, what's one thing you would change on Titanic's interior? One thing I would change is I would make sure at least all first and second class spaces are fully decorated. On Titanic, there were some first and second class spaces where there just was no decoration at all. And what is this? There were some cabins up here, but as you can see, it's not really decorated at all. It is neat and tidy looking, that's for sure. You know, white walls and everything for, you know, but not very decorated. And then trying to think, we have to go up a level to kind of show you what I mean. See, more areas. Not very. And then if I take you to the bathroom of the Strauss suite, I'll show you what I mean more specifically. So here's the Strauss suite. Go to the bathroom. Now this bathroom is shared amongst two cabins. So we have the Strauss suite here, and then this door over here leads to another suite, and they both shared this bathroom and well, toilet room and bathroom. You can see there is no decoration whatsoever. It is just bare steel with rivets poking out and exposed beams. You know, literally on the other side of that wall is the ocean. It's you know, there's no decoration on it, nothing to cover the beams. There is a nice linoleum flooring, basically. That's, you know, it's a simple pattern, but I'm not going to complain about a pattern, you know. And there is a nice kind of sink here, but that's pretty much it. There's really no decoration at all. It's very industrial looking. The toilet closet, the water closet, is again bare steel. The only decoration being the wooden seat that you sit on to do your business. There's the murky waters of the great beyond. And yeah, so, you know, I like to say, you know, because a lot of people go like, oh, Titanic was so luxurious. Well, yeah, when you look at stuff like this, it's luxurious. But I like to say Titanic is luxurious and well decorated where it's at. So you have to be in the well decorated areas for it to be nicely decorated. So, otherwise, if you venture ever so slightly away from these beautiful areas, you'll find that there are perfectly accessible areas to passengers that are not decorated. And I'll show you another area too. So if we go back to, oh no, we have to go down to D deck. Sorry about that. And then we'll go to this last area to show you the point I'm trying to make, and then we're gonna end the live stream after that. So if I take us back through here, this is again a first class accessible area. Now, let's say you want to play squash, right? Squash is a type of racket game. And you would come down here, again, all this pretty much undecorated. There's a nice little like quilted maple wood, you know, banister, but that's about it. You come down this way. Yeah, I'm going the right way. I had to think for a moment. I'm like, am I going the right way? This door would have been closed off to you because down there is crew areas only. But nevertheless, this area was accessible to first class passengers. Undecorated, especially once you pass this threshold. It's just bare steel after that. And you come down this way, and there's the squash courts. You might hear them playing squash in a minute because the sound activates. So again, just bare steel, no decoration. Now, I don't mind that the squash court itself is not decorated. Obviously, there's, you know, they're hitting a ball against the walls and stuff like that. So you don't want decoration in here. The game will just destroy it eventually anyway. But yeah, it's just, you know, Titanic is beautiful where it's at. Otherwise, if you're not in those very specific areas where the ship is nicely decorated, you just won't see decoration. Now, the Queen Mary is different on that part because almost everywhere a passenger could go on the Queen Mary, it was decorated in some way or form. But yeah, Titanic, you know, you could suddenly round a corner and you're in this like industrial looking hallway, you know, like you're in a hospital ward. So yeah, that's one of the things I would change about Titanic if I could. Yeah. We'll kind of go to this little lobby here. I like this lobby. Okay, let's answer some questions and then we'll end the stream. Chris says on board a ship, it's called a galley. Yeah, Chris is referring to the kitchen. I just say kitchen because, you know, I'm a chef, so I always say kitchen. I'm not used to saying galley. Let's see. The only thing that's true about Titanic is that it hit an iceberg and sank, but Jack and Rose were not real characters. Pikachu says, I heard they served a French ice cream in the first class and American ice cream in second class. What do you think of this? If it's true, then that's odd. Yeah. That's odd. The difference between like American ice cream versus French ice cream is that American ice cream tends to be a lot richer and French ice cream is a little more light, but I mean really the difference is not that perceptible to most people, but yeah, American ice cream is a bit richer because we just love fat and sugar. So, um, but yeah, I wouldn't know why that they would choose to serve two different ice creams on Titanic for that reason. You know, maybe that indicates that first class was often traveling from Europe, where second class were Americans. I have no idea. No idea. Um, yes, Roger. Yeah. Some of the staterooms on D deck that I mentioned did have exposed ceilings. Yeah. Uh, Maverick says, feels like Normandy is like Titanic. Details are in the public areas and not so much other areas. Yeah. Jimmy says, looks like you've toured it already. Uh, yeah, we did a whole live stream. Uh, Peden says, I can't wait to see the next THG updates to the ship. Me too. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Again, this is 30% of the ship, but the next update will make it so you can access 50% of the ship. So that's an increase of 20% added on. So, Teresa says, does Titanic have 9 decks or 12? It has 9. Queen Mary has 12 decks. Yeah. Yeah, Titanic has 9 decks. So, I know that might be confusing to people because if you count the decks on Titanic, you end up finding out that there's like 10. Um, but technically, a deck is it doesn't matter how high the deck is; it's counted as one deck. So technically, Titanic has 9 decks, not 10. Queen Mary has 12 decks, but again, if you counted them, it comes out to about 13. But you know, once again, it doesn't matter how tall a deck is. It's counted as one, not two. So I say that because there are some decks that are like they're the height of 2 decks, but it doesn't count as 2. All right, folks. Well, it's been an hour and 36 minutes, and I am tired. I have to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. So, yeah, I'm going to end the live stream here. This was really fun. I do like doing these, and I'm really hoping that they update the game soon so we can, like, do more stuff, because I feel like whenever I do these, we often see the same places a lot, and, you know, while we will still continue to see the same places a lot, even after the update, there will be new things to see that I can show you guys. So, hopefully they do that soon. But anyway, yeah. I wanted to thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.